Well, they're complicated for the White House, but they're one that they feel like they've got the upper hand on. And you heard the president in his remarks today announcing the official opening of the U.S. Embassy in Havana and the Cuban embassy here in Washington, D.C., point to the fact that public surveys, public opinion polling across the board, both parties, leans towards the White House on this. And I think that has been in large part, one of the key reasons they were willing to go through with this. They felt like the time had come, and as the Obama administration has said over and over again, the policies in general have failed. They've moved forward. It's been about 6 months since they initially announced they were going to start this process to get to this point. But one key point here, Mark, there is still a lot of work to go as they try and move forward on diplomatic relations.
Speaking of work, there's also money involved, Phil, because if this embassy, the U.S. Embassy, has to be reopened and upgraded, funds for that must be allocated, and those funds have to be allocated by Congress. And from what we were hearing after today's announcement by the president, that's going to be a tough task.
That's exactly right, Mark. Look, there's few mechanisms right now that Congress can use to actually try and hold back the administration here. And it's important to note, Republicans in leadership, Speaker John Boehner, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, senior Republicans, top Republicans like Marco Rubio have stated they're very opposed to the administration's moves here. And the appropriations process is one way that they think they can try and hamstring what's going forward right now. Now, it's important to note, the Obama administration isn't purchasing or building a new area to house their diplomats. They actually have a mission that's still down there, the same mission that was used as the embassy in 1961. All they'll be doing is repurposing it and changing the name. Another key issue, Mark, on this area that you need to look at some point the Obama administration is going to nominate an ambassador to Cuba. He will also have to go through the U.S. Senate, where there are not only Republicans that have problems with this issue, but including key Democrats like Senator Robert Menendez, who again said today he's very opposed to this direction the Obama administration is taking and might be willing to try and block their own nominee.
Phil, about 30 seconds left. I'm struck by the date, July 20th. That's the anniversary of man's landing on the moon. Are we talking one small step for man, one giant leap for the U.S. and Cuba here?
You know, the president said today, a year ago, nobody thought we would have been in this point, and I think that's very true. A lot of behind-the-scenes negotiations, including the Pope, during this entire process. I think for the administration's perspective, this is a key legacy piece, one that they had been working on behind closed doors and weren't necessarily sure they'd get to. They like where they stand on this, and they think they're on the right side of history on this one, Mark.